How do you feel about Black Lives Matter?
I don't really know what to say.
Yes, our society is a knowledgeable and careful society. All our citizens are citizens, and we care about them all. They make up our population, and they contribute to our economy.
My opinion, I think it's really a shame that all these years later we're still dealing with this issue of racism in our world. And I think it's really unfortunate that that battle still has to be fought, and that African American men or men of color aren't really comfortable going out in the world for fear of being harassed by police. I work with two men at a school that I work at. One of them is a 5'2" Latino guy. He's about 40 with 2 kids and a wife. And the other man is a 6'3" black man with 2 little girls and a wife. And one of them lost their license recently, and one said to the other, "I gotta go today and get my license, because you know what it's like to be out there without any identification." And the other guy said, "Oh yeah, I totally hear you." He goes, "You don't want to be caught walking anywhere without ID." And it's a shame that 2 upstanding citizens of our country feel that way and feel that they have to cover themselves against the possibility of harassment.
That the whole world in general is more of a crisis than a race mattering more than another race. We all should be equal, I agree with that part, but people starving in half the world. People sleep on the ground under bridges and stuff. And people are worried about getting called racist or being racist or what their race is. We're all humans. Be a human. Don't be a dick. What do you gotta say?
I agree with you.
Happy birthday.
Well, I think that, obviously we have a really big problem in this country. And over the last, 5 or 6 years or so, I think it's actually a crisis. And anything that brings people's attention to that, I think, is important. So I think it's an important movement. Racism is a huge problem, and I think, if anything, it's gotten worse. I think it's an important movement, and the more it's brought to people's attention, I think the better off we are.
I believe that Black Lives Matters comes from a valid place, that there is a problem with the police force racism in the police force, that our jails are aimed to convict disproportionately minorities, and that the current administration is only furthering this when the past administration was trying to correct this problem, and as a result, things are only going to get worse. There's a very, very bad problem with racism in this country, and our current president is giving a feeling of validity to white supremacists, which is never a good idea. And although I disagree with some of the actions of Black Lives Matter, I can certainly understand where they're coming from, and I can certainly understand why they would feel as if the history of this country has not been healed, has not changed, and they're still being targeted systematically and through the policies of this country. And that's pretty much it.
I think there's a I think it really does matter. Black lives do matter. All lives matter. But I do think that there's such a high incidence of deaths among black people that I really do think that something has to be done. Black on black killings. I don't know. What do you say? All lives matter. I mean, the Unitarian Church that I pass every day has it out. Black Lives Matter. And it does. All lives matter.
the whole thing makes me sad that we're still fighting this fight.
Black lives really matter.
Should always consider each and every individual as a larger part of our society, and they should not be excluded, and they are important people.